Before going to drama, please subscribe my channel. Thank you. Drama starting with in a strange city, the temperature suddenly starts dropping rapidly, and it gets so cold that it begins to snow. As soon as two air hostesses step out of the airport, they freeze in the snow due to the extreme cold. Even a plane flying in the air freezes because of the chill. Gradually, as people realize what's happening, an alert is issued across the city, and everyone is told not to go outside. People lock themselves indoors, and soon food and water become scarce. But our hero, Lin, who deeply loves his girlfriend Cece, goes out to get food for her. Fortunately, the temperature is a bit better at that time, so he survives. He finds just one fish and brings it home. Cece is very happy to see him and tells him that she loves him very much. They hug each other, but Lin doesn't know that Cece is only pretending. As soon as he gets close to her, Cece suddenly pulls out a knife and attacks him. Wounded, Lin calls out to his cousin Zhao for help, but then Cece says, "Zhao, I did just what you told me to." Zhao laughs and says that Cece actually belongs to him and he doesn't want her to be with Lin. Then Cece says Lin tried to touch her feet, so he deserves to be punished. Zhao tells her to cut off his feet. Cece cruelly cuts off Lin's feet, and together, they throw him into the snow. As Lin is dying, he thinks that if he ever gets another life, he will definitely take revenge. Just then, a miracle happens, and Lin is reborn. When he wakes up, he sees the calendar and realizes that he has come back to a few days before the incident. He picks up a bottle of water and thinks how even ordinary things are so precious. When he throws the bottle into a container, it multiplies into many bottles. He discovers that the container is magical, a gift from his father. Lin is shocked to see this. Lin is astonished by the power of the magical container and thinks that before dying, his dad had gifted him a true treasure. He realizes that if he uses this magical vessel wisely, not only can he change his future, but also take revenge for the betrayal he suffered. Taking the millions of yuan left by his dad, Lin goes to a jewelry shop and converts the money into gold biscuits, planning to use the container to multiply them and become rich quickly. As soon as Lin steps out of the shop, Cece sees him and becomes greedy upon spotting the gold in his hand. She once again tries to trap him with her charm, but this time, her plan fails. Then Zhao shows up and pretends to be impressed, saying, "Wow, my brother has become so rich. Let's throw a party." He tells Cece to invite all her friends so they can have a grand celebration. Knowing everything, Lin still agrees to the party. At the party, Zhao tells everyone to eat whatever they want and that he'll cover the bill since his brother is rich now. Everyone enjoys the feast, and an expensive bottle of wine is also ordered. But when the bill arrives, everyone is shocked. It's outrageously high. That's when Cece, in a sweet and flirty tone, says to Lin, "Won't you pay the bill for me? After all, you're my boyfriend." But Lin clearly refuses and says he will only pay for what he ate. Zhao tries to act like a hero and says it's no problem. He'll pay the bill. But slyly, he switches off his phone and pretends that it's dead. Then he asks Lin for money, promising to return it once they get home. Cece also chimes in, saying, "Lin is rich now. He has gold biscuits worth millions. Can't he pay just this much?" But Lin still refuses firmly, saying, "Why should I pay for someone else?" He pays his own bill and leaves. The rest of the group turns to Zhao for the money, but when he remains silent, the manager calls the police. Meanwhile, Lin returns home thinking, "I just ate at such a big place today, but the real storm is yet to come." He goes back to the magical container and puts a gold biscuit in it, preparing for what lies ahead. When one gold biscuit multiplies into many, Lin becomes extremely happy. But soon, he discovers a major problem. All the biscuits have the same serial number, so he can't sell them. Thinking smartly, he orders a gold melting machine to melt the biscuits and reshape them into different forms. Once the machine arrives, he melts the gold and molds it into large stone-like chunks. Taking one gold chunk, he goes to a jewelry shop where the manager is shocked to see such rare gold. She tells him that it's extremely valuable, but buying such a large piece could be risky for them. Lin then cleverly negotiates, offering it at a lower price, while also flirting with her a bit. The manager agrees and gives him millions in exchange for the gold. With the money in hand, Lin heads to the biggest mall in the city and starts buying everything he needs. Some of the items are so expensive that the customers and staff at the mall are stunned. The mall staff start treating him with respect and even give him a VIP card. But on his way out, Lin throws the card away, saying, "This mall won't be the same in a few days anyway, so what's the point of this card?" He then buys loads of food supplies and thousands of clothes to survive the cold. A storm is predicted for the next day, so Lin makes all the preparations in advance. As all the items are being delivered to his home, his neighbors, Cici and Zhao, mock him, asking if money is raining down on him. But Lin says nothing in response. Suddenly, the weather begins to change and snow starts falling. As the cold intensifies, Cici asks Lin if he could give her his jacket. But Lin refuses and says, "When you know it's cold outside, why did you come dressed like that?" Cici insists that she's his girlfriend, but Lin replies, "You're nothing to me now." Zhao steps in and says that Lin doesn't deserve to be a boyfriend. Lin snaps back, "If you care so much, why don't you give her your jacket?" Saying this, Lin walks away. Cici gets very upset by Lin's words and breaks up with him right then and there. But Lin doesn't care at all and calmly starts walking away. Cici mocks him, saying that the way he treats a girl, he'll never have a girlfriend. She says she was the only one who tolerated him. He's poor and not even a good person. So, staying alone is written in his fate. But Lin ignores her words and walks away without responding. On the way, he bumps into his neighbor Yen, who is a doctor by profession and secretly has feelings for Lin. When Lin sees her, he thanks her because in the past, when he was lying in the snow near death, it was Yen who found him and tried to save him. She herself froze in the snow, which showed how much she cared for him. However, in the present, Yen doesn't say much. She simply says, "I just came from the hospital, so maybe I smell a bit weird." Lin notices that Yen is feeling cold, so he takes off his jacket and puts it on her, genuinely concerned for her well-being. He advises her not to go outside after tomorrow night, as the weather is going to get extremely bad and the end of the world is near. Hearing this, Zhao mocks him, saying, "Stop scaring people. Just because you bought a bunch of stuff and got rich doesn't mean you can spread panic." Lin replies that he doesn't care whether people believe him or not. He's told the one person who needed to know. Zhao then challenges him in front of everyone, saying if Lin is so sure the world is ending, let's ask others if they believe him. Nobody believes Lin, but Yen speaks up and says she trusts him and won't step out after tomorrow night. Then she heads back to her home. Even then, Zhao doesn't stop and makes a bet with Lin. If the storm doesn't come and nothing happens, Lin will have to give everything to Cici, whether it's something his dad left him or what he bought himself. Lin, now angry, responds that if the storm does come, he'll kill both of them. After that, Lin goes home and pays a large sum to a security company to fully modify his house. The front door becomes extremely strong, the glass windows are turned bulletproof, and a temperature control system is installed. He monitors everything around his house through CCTV cameras and organizes everything inside so he can find whatever he needs in case of an emergency. He also prepares food and drinks. Using the magical container, he multiplies one bottle of water into many, one chicken into several chickens, and gets multiple high-quality weapons ready for his safety. Without wasting any time, he sets up every essential item in a precise manner, because now the end of the world was very, very near. Time slowly passes, and now only a few minutes are left before the storm is supposed to arrive. Zhao looks around and sees that nothing is happening even after the predicted time. Only the cold has increased a little. Seeing this, he gets angry and decides to head to Lin's house to take his things. Meanwhile, Yan's friend Bayan urges her to come outside, saying the weather looks fine. But Yan refuses and tells her that Lin had warned her. Bayan gets annoyed and says, "You believed a guy just because he told you so?" Yan calmly replies that it's not about his words. She trusts him as a person. She also warns Bayan not to go out, but Bayan doesn't listen and forcibly drags Yan outside. As soon as they step out, the two of them start shivering from the cold and, frightened, rush back inside. On the other side, Zhao steps outside with Cici and realizes that the weather has worsened significantly. They see someone frozen solid in the cold. The nearby residents start panicking, wondering what on earth is happening. Zhao's mother is also seen outside. She tells them she was looking for food since they had nothing to eat. That's when Zhao remembers that Lin had already stocked up on food. He turns to his neighbors and says, "Let's go to Lin's house. He has plenty of food. Otherwise, we'll all starve to death." Inside his home, Lin is calmly sitting and enjoying a hot meal. His home alarm alerts him that the temperature outside has dropped even further, but he is completely prepared, so it doesn't affect him. Suddenly, his neighbors gather outside his house, begging him for food and shelter. They plead, "You're eating all that food alone. Can't you at least share some with us?" Lin firmly refuses and says, "Everything here I bought with my own money, only for myself. I warned you all beforehand, but no one listened. Now face the consequences." Then, the neighbors bring Cici forward and ask, "Will you not even open the door for the one you used to love?" Cici tries to manipulate him, using her body to seduce and win him over again. But this time, Lin knows exactly what she did to him in the past. He doesn't fall for her act and bluntly says, "I'm not interested in you anymore." Cici angrily asks, "Didn't you once say you loved me?" Lin replies, "Yes, there was a moment when I wanted us to be together, but not anymore. Now I'm just bored of you." When even this plan fails, the neighbors, everyone standing outside Lin's house, starts trying new tricks to get inside and grab some food. But Lin refuses outright because now he remembers everything. How these people once took advantage of his innocence, made him do all the chores, and then badmouthed him behind his back. Remembering all this makes him furious, and right in front of everyone, he starts throwing all the food into the trash. Seeing this, Zhao gets enraged and says, "If you won't understand nicely, then I'll make you understand another way." He picks up a stick and tries to attack Lin's door, but due to the snow, he slips, falls, and injures himself. Seeing her son hurt, his mother angrily threatens to call the police and drags Zhao back home. The others also silently leave. Afterward, Lin gets a call from Yen. She thanks him for warning her not to go outside earlier. Lin feels good knowing that someone actually listened to him and was helped because of it. He tells Yen, "If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask." Their call ends on a warm note. Yen turns to her friend and says, "We shouldn't have gone out. He warned us, didn't he? Did you see how cold it was out there?" Her friend finally agrees, and both of them snuggle under blankets. Time passes, and the cold in the city intensifies. People run out of food, and they begin eating whatever they can find, even expired items. One man finds an expired biscuit underground, and just as he's about to eat it, Zhao shows up with his gang, kills the man, and takes the biscuit. But then Zhao realizes the biscuit is expired. His ego won't let him eat it, so he tosses it into the crowd, and everyone dives in, fighting over it. But one small biscuit can't feed everyone. A girl angrily confronts Zhao and says, "You've been making us work for so long, but you're not giving us any food." Zhao replies, "I'm not eating either." Then he points Lin and says, "Look at him, sitting comfortably and eating so much. Let's take revenge on him." He riles everyone up and says, "Grab whatever weapons you can. We're going to attack." Meanwhile, Lin is peacefully enjoying a mutton feast. Suddenly, his security alarm goes off, warning him that another storm is approaching. That's when he hears Sesei's voice at the door, begging to be let in. Cici cries, "I'm so alone and hungry. Won't you let me in?" But Lin knows she's not alone. Zhao and others are standing behind her with weapons. He refuses. Then Cici sniffs the air and asks, "What are you eating? I want some too." Lin replies, "I've eaten so much, I'm tired of it. And still, my stock isn't running out." Cici pleads again, "If you let me in, you can do whatever you want with me. I'm alone at the gate right now." But Lin knows it's a trap and says, "I know Zhao is standing right behind you." Hearing this, Zhao angrily yells, "Now watch how I finish you off." Zhao begins attacking Lin's door with all his weapons, but no matter how hard he tries, the door doesn't budge. He even attempts to cut through it, but it has no effect. The door is just too strong. Seeing this, Lin jokes, "You guys are working really hard. All right, let me give you something to eat." He goes inside and sees in trash that he has only one packet of noodles left. Smiling, he says, "I've never seen dogs fighting before. Maybe I will now." Then he puts the noodles into his magical pot and turns them into multiple things. Taking 2 packets, he walks back out and tosses them through the window. The crowd starts fighting over the food like wild dogs, and Lin finds the scene amusing. Zhao, furious, yells, "You're giving us expired noodles while you're eating mutton and drinking red wine? We want that too." Lin replies, "In this freezing weather where there's nothing to eat, I'm giving you noodles and you're being picky? Take it or leave it. I don't care. You're all going to die of hunger anyway." Zhao angrily attacks Lin's window with a weapon, but again, it has no effect. He's shocked. Lin, now angry, says, "First you tried to break the door. Now you're attacking my windows? I warned you before. Now I won't let you off so easily." He brings out his weapon from inside and points it at everyone. At first, the crowd hesitates, thinking Lin won't actually attack. But suddenly, Lin fires at Zhao and says, "You expect me to do nothing? You all came here with weapons to kill me, and I should just stay quiet? That's not happening." Seeing this, everyone panics and runs away. Zhao's mother takes him back home and pulls the arrow from his chest. Swearing vengeance, she says she won't let Lin off so easily. She then goes to Yan's house and tricks her into opening the door by saying her son is in critical condition and Yan, being a doctor, should help. Feeling pity, Yan opens the door, not knowing it's a trap. Once inside, Zhao's mother takes her food, then captures Yan and her friend Baizhu. Meanwhile, another man becomes seriously ill with a high fever. His wife begs for help, but instead of assisting, the people try to take advantage of her. Just then, Lin arrives and seeing him, everyone backs off in fear. Lin helps the man giving medicine, and he soon recovers. Grateful, the man thanks Lin and says, "If you ever need anything, just let me know. I have lots of bodyguards." First, Lin refuses, but then he receives a message on his phone. It's from Baizhu, terrified and asking for help. Seeing this, Lin agrees to go and retrieve girls. Meanwhile, we see Yan and Baizhu locked inside a large cage, where they are being auctioned off. One man comments on how terrible the situation in the city is and asks how much a beautiful doctor and a superstar woman should be worth. Hearing this, the people around start bidding shamelessly, not with money, but with food and supplies, since those have become more valuable than cash now. Seeing all this, Baizhu feels devastated. She starts crying and says, "I'm a doctor, and Yan is a superstar, yet no one respects us anymore." She adds, "It would have been better if I just died." The bidding continues, and eventually, a man, who turns out to be Zhao's relative, offers the highest bid and wins both of them. The two are then taken out of the cage. As the man approaches Yan and Baizhu, Lin arrives. The man asks, "Who are you?" But before Lin can answer, Zhao and Cici jump in and say, "He's just a poor guy who's been following us all the way here." Lin doesn't say anything. He just calmly says, "Bring everything back." One by one, Lin's bodyguards start bringing out crates of food, way more than what was offered during the auction. Everyone is shocked. The man, impressed, sells Yan and Baizhu to Lin. The two girls are overjoyed. Lin sets them free and even gives them each a bottle of milk. Everyone watching is stunned. Milk has become extremely rare. The crowd begins shouting, "If you have milk, give us some too, or we'll kill you." Hearing this, Yan panics and steps in front of Lin, pleading, "Please don't hurt him. If you want, I'll go with you instead." But the man replies, "First, I'll kill Lin, then I'll take you." Angered, Lin signals his guards, and they all show up armed. Seeing the arsenal, the crowd gets scared. Lin warns them, "If I ever see you near me again, I won't spare you." Everyone flees in fear. Baizhu, overjoyed, suddenly hugs Lin. Embarrassed, Lin asks, "What are you doing?" She replies, "It's really cold." Lin says, "Everything is fine now. You both can go home." But Yen tells him that their house has completely collapsed and they have nowhere to go. Hearing this, Lin takes them back to his place. His house is warm and comfortable. Lin tells them, "Stay in your rooms. And Baiju, make sure you ask me before entering any room. Otherwise, I'll kick you out." Then he asks if they're hungry. Though both girls are indeed hungry, they lie and say no. Still, Lin brings out a lot of food for them. Baiju is thrilled, and the two start eating. At that moment, Zhao and Cici happen to be passing by. As soon as Cici sees them eating, she loses her temper. She rushes to Lin's window and pleads, "Please let me in. It's freezing out here and I'm starving." Lin, enjoying the situation, walks up to her and says, "If I let you inside the house and give you food, what will you do for me?" Without thinking, Cici replies, "I'll do whatever you want." Hearing this, Zhao gets furious and drags Cici away. When they reach home, he slaps her and yells, "Why are you behaving like a dog? I'm getting food for you, aren't I? Let me kill Lin first, and then you can have everything in his house." Later, Cici once again goes to Lin and tries to seduce him using her body, attempting to trap him. But Lin, having already been betrayed once, doesn't fall for it. He asks her how she managed to get there, and Cici tells him about the secret group. This reveals to Lin that Zhao has been planning a group attack on him. But Lin isn't afraid. He tells everyone, "Do whatever you want. I warned you all before, but you laughed at me. Now solve your own problems, and don't even think about stealing my stuff." When Lin refuses to give food, the rest of the community holds a meeting and decides that everyone should contribute whatever food they have, and it'll be shared equally. People start contributing their food slowly. But when it's Lin's turn, he refuses. He says, "Why should I share what I worked hard for?" And with that, he starts to leave. But Cici tries to stop him. Meanwhile, the others try to break into Lin's house. Sword shows up with his bodyguards and begins smashing the door. Yen, who is inside, gets scared seeing all this. When the door doesn't open, they try to hack the system, but 2 people die from an electric shock. Seeing this, Sword beats up Zhao and tells Cici, "Kill him." When that plan fails, they try to enter Lin's house through a neighboring home. As soon as Lin finds out, he sends his bodyguards, who beat up Sword's men badly. Everyone flees in fear. Later, when Lin returns home, he checks the CCTV footage. Yen gets scared, but Lin reassures her that the house is safe. Just then, Lin gets a call from one of his bodyguards, asking him to come over. When he arrives, the bodyguards tell him everything that happened. Pleased, Lin gives them the key to a house full of food, but they humbly refuse. Still, Lin gives them some gifts and heads back home. As Lin enters his room to sleep, he finds Baiju already sitting on his bed. Startled, he asks, "What are you doing here?" Baiju playfully replies, "I want to sleep with you tonight. You don't have a problem with that, do you?" Lin tries to reason with her and thinks about how to get her out of the room. When Lin tries to get Baiju out of his room and she refuses to leave, he starts playfully flirting with her. As he gets close to her, Baiju suddenly gets scared and runs out of the room. Lin just smiles. Time passes and Lin becomes very wealthy. He opens a large company and makes special arrangements to ensure his employees have plenty of food in every season. Hearing this, people start lining up for jobs at his company. Lin even appoints his assistant as a bodyguard. One day, while Lin is in the office, Sword and Cici also arrive for an interview. As soon as Cici sees water, she starts drinking it like she hasn't had any in ages. People around her look at her strangely. Sword tells her, "This company belongs to my uncle. If he sees you with me, you won't get the job." Later, both go in for the interview. When they're asked questions, they don't know the answers, but they pretend to be rich and important. Cici again tries to use her body to get attention, but the woman conducting the interview completely ignores her and tears up their files, throwing them in the trash. Seeing this, both get angry and start misbehaving. Just then, Lin walks in with his assistant. They assume Lin is just another staff member and begin misbehaving with him too. Lin sits down in the chair in front of them and says, "I'm the boss of this company." But the two think he's lying and keep insulting him. At that moment, Sword's uncle enters. When he sees that they are bad-mouthing his boss, he panics, slaps Sword, and says, "He is my boss." Then both Sword and Cece are kicked out of the office. Now Lin's life is going really well. He spends quality time with his girlfriend and sister. The three of them eat together and chat happily. Suddenly, Yen gets up and says, "I want a baby." Then she and Lin kiss. As Lin kisses her, he starts to feel something strange, and suddenly the sound of an alarm wakes him up. As he opens his eyes, he hears his mom and dad's voices and is shocked. He wonders, was all of that just a dream? Are my parents still alive? The thought makes him very happy, and he says, "I've never had a dream like this in my whole life." If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.